Hello, today we're going to review relations and functions. So first of all, we have our function, and this is our function notation. So we have f of x, and that's how you pronounce it, f of x. F of x sometimes is known as y, so we can also write y is equal to. So if we have f of x, we know that it's in function notation. And our domain represents our x values. So these are our x values, or sometimes these are known as our input, because these are the numbers that we're going to actually put into. We're inputting them into our function. So really we're saying, for example, the first one is f of -2. What happens when I input that in? I get 2 times -2 minus 3. And when I evaluate that, I get -4 minus 3, which is -7. So here is my y value, or my f of x value, or my output. So these represents the outputs that I have. So just a really short review. So it says determine if the relations are functions, then state the domain and range. So first we want to determine if it's a function. Well, we know if it's a function if for every output there is only one, for every input there's only one output. So the inputs are 1, -2, -1, and I have another 1 here. So because I have this other one, here's one output of -2 and one output of 3. They're two different outputs, so this is not a function. So this is not a function. Okay, so then we can write down our domain. And our domains are simply just our inputs or our x values. So our domain is 1, -2, and -1. And I should have put that in increasing order, but I put it in decreasing order instead. Actually, no, this is not in any order at all. Notice I didn't put the 1 again. I don't need to put that again. The range, I have -2, 0, 2, and 3. Let's put this in the correct order this time. So we'll do, oh, it's already in there, -2, 0, 2, and 3. All right, let's look at the next one. We want to determine if it's an input. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for every input, there's only one output, so this means that it is a function. So we'll just say yes. And so our domain is already in increasing order. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Our range is 1, 2, 5, 10, and 15. Okay, let's do another one. All right, it says relations is first says graphing. It says write each of the following as a relation, state the domain and range, and then determine if it's a function. So we'll say each of these, so we'll plot each of these as a relation. So the first one is at -2, -2. So I'm just doing exactly what we had on the previous slide. Remember, this one is at -2, 1. Did I do that correct? No, this is not -2. This is, apologize for that. This is -1, 1. The next point is at, and I'm going to run out of space. I hope that's okay with you all. 1, 0. We have 1, 1. I have 1, 2, 3, 3, -2. And 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. So now I can list out my domain. And it is -2, -1, 1. I don't need to put 1 again. We know that 1 is part of the domain. And 3, and I don't need to put 3 again because I know it's 3 is part of the domain. The range is 2, 1, 0. Don't need to put 1 again, we already have it. -2 and 3. And I should go back and put that in order. I'm not though. Is this a function? It's not a function because we have 1 and 1 where they have two different values, two different output values, and then I have 3 and 3 where I have two different output values. So this is not. All right, let's do the next one. So here I have it at -2, 3. Here I have it at 0, 1. Here is at 2, -1. And here is at 1, 2, 3, -2. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to put this down here. Okay, so my domain is just all my x values. I have -2, 0, 2, and 3. And my range is all my y values. So I have 3. Let's try to put them in order. So let's say we'll start here at -2, -1. Notice they don't have to match, right? I'm just listing out the numbers that are in my range and then listing out the numbers that are in my domain. And then I have 1 and 3. So for each input, there's only one output, so this is a function. Also, we can do something called the vertical line test. So if this is not connected, but if it was connected, let's say that I have something like this. The vertical line test says that if I draw a line anywhere on my graph, that it only hits the line once. So if I draw a line here, it only hits 1. But if I draw a line here, it hits it twice. So we know that that's not a function. So for this one, if I connect it, I know that anywhere I draw it, it's not going to touch. So that means that this is a function. So this one is not a function and this one is a function. All right, it says express the relation as a mapping. State the domain and the range and determine if it's a function. So we're going to do a mapping. So just like we did at the very, very first one where we have our x values and we have our y values. And so we're just going to put all of our x values in numerical order. So I have -2, I have 0, and I have 5. I'm not going to put that -2 again, right? That goes in one circle. So remember, this is just like the very, very first example. Oops, right here. This is a mapping. Okay, and my y values, I have -1, 3, 4, and I don't need to put that 3 again. So now I'm going to draw. So I have -1, -2 to 1, 0 to 3, 4 to 5, and -2 also goes to -3. So this mapping lets me easily see that my x values are going to two different numbers. So because they are going to two different numbers, I know this is not a function. I'm not going to write out my range, my domain. My domain is just simply what I have in here, and my range is simply what I have in here. Okay, so let's do it again. Oops, let me not draw my circle until I've written them out. So I have -1, 0, 2, and 3. So they're already in numerical order for us. 0, 2, and 3. And so that's in my first block. For my y values, I have 5, 3, 3, and -1. So we'll say -1, 3, and 5. and I'm going to put that in my next one. So -1 goes to 5, 0 goes to 3, 2 goes to 3, and 3 goes to -1. So my domain is simply all the values in here. My range is all the values in here. So now, is this a function? Well, if you look here, each of these are only going to one number. So yes, it is. But I bet you're saying, well, wait a minute, Dr. Cates, wait. I have two numbers that are going to 3. Well, that doesn't apply. We're only talking about the x, and the x, how many times it goes to the y. So as I stated before, when I'm drawing my graph and I'm doing that vertical line test to see if it's a function or not, I'm checking to see what happens. So let's, for example, graph 0, 3. So 0, 3 is right here. And we have 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Notice that this is a horizontal line, and I want to check to see if it crosses the vertical line. So if I connect these two dots, if I draw a line, it doesn't cross. So this is a function. And I hope that this helps.